It was supposed to be the happiest day of Amy Roloff's life, a beautiful wedding surrounded by family, friends, and love. But behind the scenes, a chilling rumor began to spread. Someone allegedly was plotting to destroy everything, not with words, not with scandal, but with something far darker. A $5,000 plan that could have turned Amy's wedding into a nightmare. As Amy walked down the aisle to marry Chris Marek, smiles filled the air, cameras captured every emotional moment, and fans across the world celebrated her second chance at love. But what if, beneath that picture-perfect scene, there was a hidden agenda brewing? What if someone close to the Roloff family had a secret plan that almost changed everything? Amy Roloff, the heart of little people, big world, has always been known for her warmth, resilience, and optimism. After years of heartbreak following her divorce from Matt Roloff, her wedding to Chris Marek in August 2021 was supposed to mark a new beginning, a celebration of love, peace, and healing. The event took place at none other than Roloff Farms, the very same land where Amy built her family, raised her children, and shared her life with millions of TLC viewers. But just as the ceremony plans came together, rumors began to ripple across online fan groups and behind-the-scenes circles. Something wasn't right. Whispers hinted at a mysterious catering mix-up, a sudden replacement, unverified ingredients, and late-night deliveries that didn't add up. And then came the most shocking claim of all, that Caryn Chandler, Matt Roloff's longtime girlfriend, was somehow connected to the drama. According to the whispers, an unnamed source mentioned a $5,000 payment, allegedly tied to the incident, a figure that has since become the centerpiece of countless online discussions. Was this just another baseless fan theory, or was there really an attempt to sabotage Amy's wedding day from within her own inner circle? Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. For Roloff family latest news update, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. The day began like a fairy tale. The sun hung gently over the Oregon sky, casting golden light across Roloff Farms, the same land that had been the backdrop of Amy Roloff's life for decades. White chairs lined the freshly cut grass, decorated with soft roses and rustic wood accents that perfectly reflected Amy's warm, homely charm. The air buzzed with laughter, conversation, and anticipation. Amy, dressed in a stunning off-the-shoulder lace gown, looked radiant. Her smile was wide, her eyes sparkled, and for a brief moment the years of heartbreak and public scrutiny seemed to melt away. After everything, the divorce, the tension, the uncertainty, this was supposed to be her second chance at happiness. Chris Marek stood at the altar, calm and proud, his eyes locked on Amy as she walked down the aisle. Guests clapped, some teary-eyed as the music swelled. It was the kind of wedding fans of little people, big world had hoped she'd have, intimate, emotional, and full of love. But as the ceremony unfolded, not everyone could ignore the unspoken question: where were Matt Roloff and Caryn Chandler? Their absence was glaring. This was, after all, happening on Roloff Farms, the same property Matt had once shared with Amy. Many fans expected some kind of peace offering or at least a public show of unity. Yet neither Matt nor Caryn appeared. Online discussions exploded with theories. Some claimed Matt had wanted control over the wedding planning and pulled back when Amy refused to let him take charge. Others speculated Caryn didn't feel welcome, especially after years of tension between the women. Still, Amy didn't let it show. She carried herself with grace, determined that nothing, not even family drama, would ruin her big day. The ceremony ended with cheers, and guests began to move toward the reception area. Tables were laid with Amy's favorite rustic decor, mason jars, candles, and little homemade touches that made everything feel personal. But then quietly, something started to go wrong. It began in the kitchen tent. A murmur spread among the catering staff. One of the main food deliveries had been delayed. Then came confusion over the wine order. Guests noticed servers whispering, glancing anxiously at their phones. At first, it seemed like small, typical wedding hiccups. But when multiple vendors started reporting that their orders had been mysteriously canceled just hours before the ceremony, the tension thickened. Amy, blissfully unaware, continued posing for photos and laughing with friends. But behind the scenes, her wedding planner was frantically trying to get to the bottom of it. The florist claimed they received a strange phone call early that morning. Someone pretending to be part of Amy's team had told them to cancel the additional flower arrangements. The catering company said the same. An unidentified caller had confirmed a menu change and canceled the dessert shipment altogether. By the time Chris was giving his speech, several staff members were in full panic mode. Some guests began to whisper, how could multiple cancellations happen by accident? Fans who later pieced together details online noticed the eerie pattern. One viewer wrote, "It's almost like someone wanted Amy's big day to fall apart." Could it have been a misunderstanding, or was there something more sinister behind the scenes? As photos from the wedding spread online, fans began comparing timelines, screenshots, and public posts from that weekend. It didn't take long for people to suspect sabotage. Someone they believed had deliberately tried to disrupt Amy Roloff's dream wedding, and the name at the center of the speculation would soon shock everyone. The perfect day that Amy had spent months planning was beginning to unravel, quietly, subtly, but unmistakably, and it was only the beginning of a story that would haunt her long after the last dance ended. It all began with a single post, a cryptic comment buried deep in a Little People, Big World fan forum. Someone claimed to have overheard an Oregon catering staffer talking about a suspicious order cancellation linked to Amy Roloff's wedding. Within hours, the rumor spread like wildfire across Reddit threads, Facebook fan groups, and Instagram gossip pages. The whispers all pointed to one shocking allegation. Caryn Chandler allegedly paid $5,000 to a local vendor to alter certain ingredients meant for Amy's wedding reception meal. The term alter immediately raised alarm bells. What did it mean? Some fans took it literally, believing that Caryn may have tried to tamper with food served to Amy's wedding guests. Others suggested it was more symbolic, a so-called poison plot meant to ruin Amy's reputation or sabotage her big day through embarrassment or chaos. Either way, the phrasing was chilling, and it didn't take long for the story to explode into something much bigger than a rumor. According to several online sleuths, the alleged transaction took place just weeks before Amy's wedding. The supposed vendor, a small catering company in Portland, reportedly received an anonymous payment through a third party. Screenshots later surfaced showing an invoice labeled Special Ingredient Alteration, which fans immediately tied to the $5,000 claim. No one could verify its authenticity, but that didn't stop social media from drawing its own conclusions. Within days, the narrative took on a life of its own. Some fans speculated that Caryn's motive was simple: jealousy. Amy's wedding symbolized happiness, healing, and moving forward, everything that Caryn, as Matt Roloff's longtime partner, was accused of taking from her years earlier. Others pointed to the deeper tension between the two women, not just over love, but over the Roloff Farms legacy. When Amy sold her portion of the family farm to Matt, many viewers felt she was forced out emotionally. Caryn, who worked as Matt's assistant at the time, was viewed by fans as the other woman who benefited from that sale. So when Amy hosted her wedding on the very same property she once owned, some fans believed Caryn saw it as a personal humiliation. The $5,000 rumor, whether true or not, became the embodiment of that resentment. As the theory evolved, others argued that the poison was never literal. Instead, they saw it as a metaphor for character assassination, a calculated effort to ruin Amy's image on social media. Some said Caryn allegedly hired people to spread false narratives about Amy's catering failures, last-minute chaos, and guest complaints. Others even claimed that a suspicious email chain between anonymous accounts was uncovered, targeting Amy's event planner with fake cancellation notices and complaints. Those defending Caryn, however, were quick to dismiss everything as fan fiction. They pointed out that Caryn had no visible reason to sabotage Amy's event. After all, Caryn and Matt were not invited. Why would she risk legal trouble or public scandal just to get even? Supporters of Caryn insisted the rumor came from disgruntled fans still bitter about the farm sale. Some even suggested that the so-called receipt screenshots had been digitally altered, citing inconsistent timestamps and mismatched invoice numbers. Still, the more people tried to debunk the rumor, the stronger it grew. TikTok creators began posting breakdowns of the alleged timeline, showing how the supposed payment coincided with the week Amy's catering service reportedly changed menus at the last minute. YouTube commentators uploaded deep-dive videos analyzing Caryn's Instagram captions during that period, interpreting her cryptic quotes about karma and dishonesty as hidden jabs at Amy. The LPBW fandom, known for its passion and divided loyalties, turned the story into a viral storm. Hashtags like poison plot and Caryn vs. Amy trended for days. Memes surfaced showing side-by-side images of Amy in her wedding gown and Caryn in a sly pose, captioned, $5,000 well spent. Even fan-run Facebook pages started polls asking whether they believed Caryn had truly tried to ruin Amy's wedding. What began as an unverified rumor was now a full-blown online investigation. Amateur detectives claim to have tracked Venmo transactions, local vendor reviews, and deleted posts from Caryn's alleged friends. None of it could be verified, yet the internet treated it like a courtroom drama. Every new clue sparked hundreds of comments and speculation threads. Behind the noise, one truth emerged. The story revealed just how emotionally invested little people, big world fans still are in the Roloff family. The alleged $5,000 poison plot wasn't just about food or sabotage. It symbolized years of unresolved tension, jealousy, and resentment between two women forever linked by one man, one farm, and one reality show that turned private pain into public entertainment. As the dust settled, some fans began questioning whether the rumor said more about them than about Caryn or Amy. Why were people so quick to believe the worst? Why did so many want this story to be true? Was it because fans had grown addicted to the chaos behind the Roloff legacy, or because they saw in Amy's struggles a reflection of every heartbreak they'd watched unfold on screen? Whatever the reason, the $5,000 plot became one of the most talked about LPBW fan conspiracies of all time. Even years later, it remains a haunting reminder of how a single rumor, without proof or context, can spiral into a digital wildfire that blurs the line between truth, fiction, and emotional projection. When the shocking rumor about Caryn Chandler's alleged $5,000 poison plot against Amy Roloff's wedding guests began spreading across LPBW fan forums, Caryn's reaction, or rather her lack of one, became one of the biggest talking points. Fans waited, scrolled, and speculated, hoping Caryn would issue some kind of statement. But she never did. There was no denial, no explanation, no clarification, just silence. On social media, Caryn continued posting as if nothing had happened. Smiling selfies, vacation snapshots from Arizona, and cheerful updates with Matt Roloff filled her Instagram feed. She appeared perfectly content holding Matt's hand by the pool, posing beside desert sunsets, sharing cheerful emojis in the captions. But notably, there was no mention of Amy Roloff, no reference to the wedding, and no attempt to acknowledge the growing controversy online. To some fans, this calm exterior looked suspicious, as if she was pretending the rumor didn't exist, hoping it would quietly die out. To others, it was a show of strength, a deliberate refusal to dignify baseless gossip with a response. But whether intentional or not, Caryn's silence only made the speculation grow louder. As the chatter intensified, LPBW fan pages were flooded with comments demanding that TLC look into it. Some even tagged the network directly, calling for an investigation or a public statement. The rumor had spread far beyond small Reddit threads. It became a trending topic among the show's Facebook communities, with viewers debating what $5,000 plot really meant. Was it literal? Symbolic? Was Caryn being unfairly targeted? Meanwhile, Matt Roloff found himself caught in a difficult position. On one hand, he loved and defended Caryn. On the other, he was painfully aware of how damaging these whispers could be for his public image and the Roloff brand. He'd already endured years of backlash from fans who accused him of being insensitive to Amy after their divorce. Now, the idea that his fiancée was being linked to a potential wedding sabotage made things even worse. Publicly, Matt didn't say much, but his few statements about ignoring negativity and focusing on love only fueled the debate. Some fans read between the lines, suggesting his words were subtle attempts to protect Caryn without directly addressing the issue. Others felt disappointed, claiming he should have stood up more firmly for his ex-wife and made it clear that no one should ever try to ruin her happiness. Behind the scenes, Amy and Chris Marek reportedly struggled with the emotional fallout. Even though there was no proof to the rumors, the mere thought that someone close to the family could be accused of such malice weighed heavily on them. Amy, who had already experienced public scrutiny through her divorce and remarriage, now faced a new wave of anxiety. She didn't comment publicly, but fans noticed her tone in later videos, quieter, more reserved, less open about her private life. Chris, ever the calm presence, reportedly tried to shield her from the noise, but even he couldn't stop the speculation from reaching their doorstep. Fans remained deeply divided. Some dismissed the story as a cruel fabrication, internet drama taken too far. Others swore that where there's smoke, there's fire. A few loyal supporters defended Caryn passionately, saying she'd been unfairly vilified since joining the Roloff family circle. Yet for every fan who defended her, another demanded accountability. The online tension became so intense that several LPBW fan groups started enforcing new rules banning any discussion of the poison plot, calling it too toxic. Ironically, that only made more people curious. By the time the dust began to settle, one thing was clear. Silence had not protected Caryn, it had only deepened the mystery. The lack of answers left fans clinging to their theories, and Amy's wedding day, once a symbol of love and new beginnings, became a story haunted by rumors of betrayal, jealousy, and unanswered questions. In the weeks that followed the explosive allegations, fans began to wonder whether TLC, the network behind Little People, Big World, had launched its own quiet investigation into what really happened behind the scenes of Amy Roloff's wedding. According to several fan accounts and supposed insider leaks circulating online, some of the wedding vendors were questioned after the rumor of a $5,000 poison plot began making headlines in fan communities. The story suggested that production staff wanted to ensure that no real danger had been present at the event and that the show's reputation remained intact. However, no official statement from TLC, the Roloff family, or the vendors ever confirmed any such inquiry. The so-called investigation existed primarily in whispers, online forums, and dramatic YouTube recaps, blending half-truths, speculation, and emotional reactions from fans who had followed the Roloffs for nearly 2 decades. It became clear that the truth behind this alleged plot was far murkier than anyone initially thought. Some fans believed the entire story was a misunderstanding, that a small catering error or miscommunication spiraled into a social media wildfire. Others insisted there was more to it, pointing to the long-standing tensions between Amy, Matt, and Caryn as fuel for conspiracy. The absence of any clear denial only deepened the mystery. But beyond the specifics of the rumor, something larger was revealed: the Roloff family's deep-seated dysfunction. The supposed poison became symbolic not of food or drink, but of envy, resentment, and emotional exhaustion. Years of public scrutiny, family fractures, and reality TV exposure had turned love into rivalry and celebration into suspicion. Matt's relationship with Caryn had already caused controversy, and Amy's decision to remarry on the same farm she once shared with Matt brought up old wounds. The tension that brewed from these overlapping personal histories gave life to stories that blurred fact and fiction. Fans could sense the fatigue, the weariness that comes from constantly defending personal choices under public judgment. In this sense, the poison wasn't something served at the wedding dinner. It was metaphorical, a manifestation of bitterness, jealousy, and unresolved pain. For every smiling Instagram post, there was an undercurrent of rivalry. For every episode celebrating family unity, there were off-camera disagreements and social media shade. And yet, amid all the chaos and accusations, Amy Roloff stood firm. She chose to rise above the noise. Instead of addressing the rumor directly or engaging in public feuds, she focused on her marriage with Chris Marek, cherishing the love that had brought her to that day in the first place. Her decision to remain silent spoke volumes. It was a gesture of grace, strength, and emotional maturity in the face of gossip designed to tear her down. While others speculated, Amy continued to live her truth, sharing glimpses of her home life, cooking videos, and heartfelt reflections on love and forgiveness. Fans began to realize that perhaps the real lesson of the poison plot wasn't about what did or didn't happen that day, but about how toxic rumors can erode trust and distort reality. By the time the chatter faded, Amy had already moved forward. The wedding that was nearly overshadowed by scandal instead became a testament to resilience. Despite the noise, she celebrated her love story with joy and dignity, proving that the strongest antidote to poison is peace. From what began as a fairy tale wedding filled with love, laughter, and second chances, Amy Roloff's story soon took a darker, more complicated turn. Whispers of betrayal, jealousy, and even a $5,000 poison plot turned what should have been a simple celebration of love into one of the most talked about mysteries in Little People, Big World history. But through it all, Amy never lost her grace. Even when fans speculated and online gossip grew louder, she remained composed, focusing on her marriage to Chris, her family, and her new chapter of peace away from the farm's chaos. This journey, from fairytale joy to public scandal, revealed more than just rumors. It exposed the deep emotional fractures that still linger among the Roloff family. Decades of love, loss, pride, and misunderstanding continue to shadow them. And while the alleged $5,000 plot remains unproven, the intensity of fan reaction reminds us just how invested the world still is in their story. At its heart, this saga is about more than drama. It's about trust, forgiveness, and the resilience it takes to move forward even when your world feels like it's falling apart. Amy's strength has always been her greatest weapon, not anger, not revenge, but quiet endurance. She faced heartbreak, gossip, and betrayal, yet she never let it break her spirit. She kept smiling. She kept showing up. She kept living. At the end of the day, Amy Roloff's story isn't about revenge or rumors, it's about strength. No matter who tried to ruin her happiness, Amy stood tall, smiled, and kept moving forward. And maybe that's the sweetest victory of all. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.